I was just watching a video from the firearm guy, which I enjoy watching his videos. He's always on the money, and he doesn't more or less try to drive you with his thoughts and ideas. You know, he opens it up and you read what you read. All right, basically. And I enjoy all of his videos. I may not always comment on all of his videos, but I do watch all his videos. Meanwhile, he was just talking about C Camp again and the 32. I don't want to get into the C Camp side of it too much. I know Larry personally. I haven't seen him in 10 years, but I do know him. He sold the company. The last I know, he moved north, like up Maine way or something. I don't know. I guess the new company is producing more product, therefore it's easier to get, more readily available. For a while, going back a few years ago when Larry was really running just like a 2 or 3 man operation, they were hard to get, sometimes up to 6 months. But again, I haven't been keeping touch. I haven't talked to him, seen him, or anything in years. Really, it's been years. So, but he always ran an upright company. I had a couple of the 32 C Camps. I just let them go. That wasn't. I didn't feel comfortable with it in my hand. I'd like to have a little bit more beef. It was a great gun, though. I had no problems with it. It's just that I like more beef. But getting back to the firearm and the ammo, he was talking about. I'm talking about the firearm guy now. Was talking about the Winchester hollows, and that's all I basically carry, and they are hard to find. When I do find them, I grab 1,000 rounds. I don't use 1,000 rounds, but you don't find them all that much. Sometimes they're right there all the time. Sometimes you can't see them anywhere. But at that point, you know, a year goes by, I see them again. I may buy another 500 rounds, another 1,000 rounds. It's not my everyday carry. When I use it at the range, I just use hollow ball ammo, basically, you know, metal jacket stuff. So, I mean, how much of this do I need? I don't believe it's going to over-penetrate anybody. You know, you plant a few more holes in them, that's all. But I also use the PPU ammo. Comes in a blue box. They also have hollow points, relatively cheap, inexpensive. Now, I use them a lot in my 380, my Browning double action, which is, I don't know how old, 30, 40 years old, who knows, I don't keep track anymore. But at that point, I use it in that, and they work fine in that, because it has enough boof, I believe. Now, when I was back in the training days, and I used to have to go myself to recertify. I'd be at the Burlington County State Police Academy, blah, 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 academy. We had to travel. Some of the ammo, believe it or not, I found, well, it was also proven by the instructor. Have I ever tried it? No, but it makes sense. When you take some of your harder metal jacket stuff, hollow points, and you're expecting them to spread, the material has a lot to do with it. They're really not made for shooting into wood, you know, cement board, water, stuff like that. Water, I guess, would be one of the closest things to what it would be, other than the ballistic gel. That's the quarry train, by the way, so hold on a minute, because it's going to make a lot of noise until the one train... Okay, it got by. Usually the heaviest car makes the most noise. And I got the door open. So anyway, I want to get a piece of paper here. Oops, it's okay, Lance. And shut the door. It's okay, Lance. And turn down the scanner. Holy Jesus, everything's got to go off at once today. Ah, never mind, I'm not going to say it. Anyway. Now, this is what one of the instructors had mentioned years ago. He was a retired FBI instructor in firearms. He worked in West Virginia, not West Virginia, but Virginia, Hogan's Run and all that kind of stuff. So he had an idea what was going on in the real world. But he was saying that if you take a piece of, I'm going to use wood just for instance, to give you what I'm talking about, and you take your round, and as it's penetrating the wood, now it's a hollow point, so let's do this, okay? As it starts to penetrate the wood, this fills up, which is supposed to, at that point, spread it. But it happens so fast with such a low caliber sometimes that this comes in around it, and the wood is actually putting force on the outer walls, basically, keeping it from expanding. Now, it makes sense. But my thing is, if that's the case, what would happen is, once it goes through the wood into something softer, I have no idea what, would at that point then, because it has nothing holding it in anymore, as it's traveling through, once it hits that softer material, will it open? So basically, if you're aiming at somebody or a target that's wearing, we'll say, a leather jacket, and this is just hypothetical stuff now, I'm not going to get into specs, and it doesn't expand when it hits that leather jacket, would it expand once it goes through the jacket and into the softer material? You know, in other words, if I was holding up a piece of 1/4-inch ply in front of me and it hits that, but it doesn't expand because this theory is falling into play, once it goes through that and hits the body and penetrates the body, will it then expand? You know, there's so many variables here. And I have noticed a lot of ammo makes the difference. I've done a lot of different ammo through a lot of different calibers throughout my lifetime. And I do find that sometimes you can buy some hollow point stuff that's no better than a Full Metal Jacket round nose. You know, I mean, it's all there is to it. Now, the only thing you have to worry about with that is, naturally, you don't want to over-penetrate, you know, and at that point. But, you know, you got to pay attention to what's going on. But this is the Winchesters, and again, I use these as my everyday. That'll always be in this firearm unless I am going to go to the range. And then I'll even use some of the other stuff that I have, the PPU hollow points, which are not, yeah, silver. But not if that was silver, I wouldn't be using it either. But you know what I mean. And this is the firearm I like. It's the little 30-32 Tomcat. It's a well balanced firearm for me. I like it. It's a well balanced. The wife loves it, and I find a lot of the women shooter like it. I find with some women, some men, but more women, they're skittish of a firearm. And even with the 22, when you put it in their hand and had never fired it before, even if I fire it in front of them, them never firing it before really don't know what to expect. And it's the unexpected that really gets them into, like, oh shit. You know, they put them into a panic mode at this point. But once they realize that and they fire the 22, they find out, oh, this isn't all that bad. Now, if I go from that 22 right into a 40 or a 45, they put the gun down. I had enough. I don't want to do it. Then you try to say, well, let's go down. Let's go into something different. Let's go into the 32, or let's go into a 9mm light load. You know, you try, or a 380, not a 380, a 38, stuff like this. You try to get them back down. And I've done this with students because I like to see how they react, because it helps me with my teaching. Well, it used to. I don't do that much more teaching. I do some. I don't do a lot anymore. But at that point, I find that if you gradually bring them in, because if you scare a woman away from it, because you, the chest pounder, want to have that big old caliber, And, well, here, babe, this is what you need. And she gets scared shitless of this thing and puts it down and never wants to firearm again. It's your fault. All right? Stop being the fucking chest pounder. Excuse my language. All right? Start them. I don't care. You know? Oh, yeah, my wife fires a 45. She does. But you know what? She didn't do it right away. She's been firearms for years. You know? She's in a 9. She's comfortable with a 9. But she started with a 22, a 25, and then the 32. All right? Now she's into the 9. It takes time. They do it when they want to do it. Don't push them into it. That's why I like the 32s. And this one especially, because it's well balanced for the caliber. There's nothing wrong with the C-Cam. It's a great gun. It'll never fail you. I've never had any fails with it anyway, and I haven't heard of any fails with it. And what's the other one out there? There's a Caltech or something, I don't know anymore, but that one I wouldn't even buy, all right, personally. But this one, all right, you know, it's the Beretta, and it's got a little beef to it. So when you fire this 32 through this gun, it's almost like firing a 22, you know, like a low velocity crap, you know, something that's not even going to tear paper. I mean, it's not that bad of a kick where it's not going to chase the woman away. If she puts it down, more than likely she's never going to pick up another gun. So you just destroyed her chances of possibly carrying or handling a firearm. Start her small, keep her small. Let her do what she wants to do and let her work it up from there. You can gradually work it up. Never mind, like I say, boom, 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 chest pounding, you know, oh, you gotta have this gun. You know, no. Any gun is better than no gun. All right, so at that point, that's my say on that. But I didn't want to get off the track. That's the theory that at one time we were shown at one of our 10-day firearms seminar in Virginia was. So that could be. I don't know. I've never experimented with it. Should I take their word for it? I'm not going to take their word for it, but it does sound possible. And until I actually try it, but what do you try it on? I'm not going to go out and buy ballistic gel and spend a lot of money to try something. All right? I know this works with the silver in it to do what I wanted to do. I know what it does when I use it for range. So why should I waste time and money? But I do appreciate the firearm guy doing it and going through what he does. Good videos. Keep them coming.